Hello everyone, I'm Uncle Reddit. Welcome to another episode of Entitled Parents, where we get an up-close look at the darker side of parenthood. Please remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy. Our next story comes from YouScott3496. Pay you exactly what you're entitled to. Lol. No problem. One benefit of sharing a child with Karen is all the stories you can post here on Reddit. This takes place about a year after the "you want half? Okay" story. Cast: me equals me. Kid equals my daughter. Karen equals co-parent. After we broke up, Karen and I came up with a private agreement for child support. Even though we have a 50-50 custody arrangement, if one parent earns more money than the other, child support is expected. I went online, found a child support calculator on my country's child support agency website, fill in the details, and clicked print. I can't remember exactly the amount it calculated, but it was around $350 a week. I thought it was a bit high given my income and custody arrangement, but could afford it. Kid was attending a religious private school at her mom's request that I was paying for. It was about $3,000, about $50 to $60 a week, which I was also paying. After 6 months, I realized I had accidentally inflated my estimated income on the calculator, which actually increased my child support from $100 a week to $350. I spoke to Karen about this and she said it's not her problem, and we are not changing it. This caused a bit of an argument, as I had overpaid $5,000, and she was unwilling to pay me back. As a result, I said in that case, I'm no longer paying the school fees. I've already given them to you and then some. What followed was a bombardment of texts stating that I'm neglecting our child's educational future. This school offered poor education anyway. Kid was there because Karen wanted it. The last message was, I'm paying these school costs. I'm going to the child support agency and you'll pay me exactly what I'm entitled to. 2 weeks later, I got a call from the CSA. I'll summarize it. Hello, OP. My name is Joe from the CSA. We received a request from Karen to start collecting child support directly from you. She claims you are withholding payments and refuse to pay for school fees. Karen also contradicted herself by requesting $350 a week on top of the assessment, as she has been accustomed to this level of additional income. Like, WTF. I laughed. I informed Joe of what had transpired. Due to an error, I paid $5,000 more than what I was meant to. She wants this religious education, not me. I'm happy to pay for public schooling. I emailed Joe my banking statements with proof of child support payments, URL link to school's website, fee page, screenshots of our text messages that proves the school choice was hers and hers alone, and a copy of the original calculated child support estimate. Joe went through the usual script, blah blah case manager, blah blah 14 days, blah blah can't guarantee your preferred outcome and decisions can be appealed. Karen spent the next 2 weeks telling all our joint friends that she was going to get more money out of me and it's payback for her losing money on the house. After the 2 weeks, I get a call from Joe, CSA. She advised me the claim has been processed and I was to pay Karen $125 a week for child support and $25 a week to contribute towards her schooling starting the next school year, as I had already paid this year's. The icing on the cake was they backdated this assessment to the start of the financial year, acknowledging the $5,000 in overpayments. By CSA laws, they can't recoup these from her directly, but they reduced payments by 66%, not including the school fees, until the overpayment had been covered, about 2 years worth. So for 2 years, I only needed to pay $45 a week. I was also told by Joe that Karen has no authority to demand money for additional expenses. I'm only obligated to pay what CSA tells me to pay. She appeals this decision and lost the school fee edition of the child support. I actually felt bad and agreed to the original assessment. 33% of $125 plus school fees. She actually started looking for work after this, so win-win. I did continue to pay for everything else I was already paying for. To clarify, I have never missed a payment. Always paid on time. I also pay for kids' dental, optometry, GP appointments without asking for half. I also pay half of her sporting fees. Well, OP, I guess even some parents can learn after a while. My stepbrother, who is about to have a second child, felt he had the right to comment on how wasteful it is for me to have pets. I did not want to run into him. I had managed to avoid my stepbrother and his wife for about a year, but I did yesterday afternoon. I was at my dad's place to drop off a few things he had needed. That's when stepbro and his wife walked in. They had recently announced that they were having another baby. I had sent them a text congratulating them, but apparently that wasn't enough, and they had whined to my dad about how I wasn't enthusiastic enough. When I saw them yesterday, our interaction began cordially enough. I asked how sister-in-law was doing, etc. Then my dad asked me to stay for dinner. I declined as I had to take my dog to the vet. He has a temperature. I mentioned that I had taken the day off from work to deliver my dad's things and to take care of my dog. My stepbrother scoffed at this and commented that it's dumb to spend money on an animal, that they can self-heal, and in this day and age it's just wasteful to keep pets because there's such scarcity in this world. Now I know that he and sister-in-law are planning to have 4 kids because they've mentioned it many times, but I've never commented on it, so I fail to understand why he had the right to comment negatively on me having a caring for pets. Something that doesn't have nearly as much environmental impact as having multiple biological children. So I snapped back, well, if you're so worried about scarcity of resources, why the H are you having another human being? Why would you add to the world's overpopulation? Take a long hard look at your own actions before commenting on what I'm doing with my life. Apparently, I'm the villain of this story because my sister-in-law cried her eyes out after I left, and my phone has been bombarded with messages from my dad, my stepbrother, and even sister-in-law's sister, whom I simply told to go F herself in so many words. I've decided to ignore the messages from my dad and stepbrother. I don't think I'll be speaking to my stepbrother and sister-in-law for a very long time, possibly for years. I'll stay in touch with my dad, but only to make sure he's okay. I just needed to vent. Thank you for reading. Edit 1. Fixed a spelling error. Edit 2. To all those people who commented and DM'd me that I overreacted, this isn't the first time that my stepbrother has said S like this. In the past, he's often told me that I'm wasting money when he saw me buying beds, toys, and even food for my pets. He was actually jealous of my parents' dog, Dennis, when he was alive. He didn't like all the attention that Dennis got from my stepmom, so when he told me I shouldn't take care of my dog, I decided to give him a tongue lashing. I get it, OP. Our pets are just like children to us, parts of the family. It may not be as exciting as some of the other posts on here, but I definitely get how family can be infuriating when they get in your business nonetheless. And our next story comes from user JMSTEI. High-flying entitled mother. Now before I begin, I just want to say I did not have any active role in this interaction. I just witnessed it firsthand due to the fact that it happened right in front of me. Backstory. Just over a year ago, I flew from Amsterdam to Newark for business, and this happened on the flight over the Atlantic. I'm also bilingual in Dutch and English. English was my first language. This will be relevant later. Cast. OP equals me. UW equals unfortunate woman caught in EM's wrath. UM, unfortunate man caught in EM's wrath, UW's husband. EM, we all know who this is. SK, small kid who had the unfortunate luck to have EM as a mom. Story. I was sitting at my seat at the front of the economy cabin right next to the bathrooms. It was about 2, maybe 3 hours into the 7-hour flight, and there was a long line for the bathroom. I needed to go as well, but decided to wait until the line was all gone to go. Enter entitled mother. Entitled mother is carrying her child who looked to be 4 or 5 years old. Instead of waiting in line like a normal human being, she goes right to the front of the line. UW calls her out on cutting in, an argument begins. At this point, I have my headphones on because I'm watching a movie, so I missed the first minute of the kerfuffle. I took them off slightly so I would be able to hear. Entitled mother. But my baby needs to use the bathroom more. Unfortunate woman. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I really need to change my daughter's diaper, and we've been waiting in line for almost 10 minutes. You can ask the person behind me if it would be okay to go in front of them. Entitled mother. But he really needs to use the bathroom. Your kid already went, so you can wait a few minutes more. It was at this point that the bathroom door unlocked and opened. EM tried to shove her way inside, but was blocked by unfortunate man who had just arrived with the baby. Unfortunate woman takes the baby and goes to go inside the bathroom, when out of nowhere, entitled mother socks unfortunate man in the jaw with a right hook. It didn't seem to be that hard, but it caught unfortunate man by surprise. Flight attendants appeared right after the punch was thrown and tried to calm entitled mother down. Entitled mother calmed down a bit, and unfortunate man didn't want anything to happen and was willing to let it go. But while entitled mother was arguing with the flight attendants and unfortunate man, unfortunate woman walks out of the bathroom and also gets a jab in the face from entitled mom. Once this happened, a flight attendant left the cabin to go get a pallet or something, and entitled mother looked around the area trying to gather support. She looks right at me and points saying, "You saw what happened, right? I did nothing wrong." I've had to deal with quite a few entitled mothers and Karens with work, so I took the easy way out. I just looked at her and said, "Sorry, ich kann nicht English sprechen," which as you can probably guess means, "Sorry, I can't speak English." After she moved on from torturing her fellow passengers, the co-pilot came back into the cabin to try and talk to her. They moved away from me to argue in a more secluded part of the plane, and the lady went back to her seat, shoved her son in the bathroom, and complained loudly about the lack of service and customer care on the airline. When the plane landed in Newark, there were 2 police officers waiting for her. They took my statement because I saw most of it happen. Last I saw of her, she had gotten cuffed and taken off the plane with her child in tow. I didn't see her in the airport at customs nor at the baggage. Don't know if unfortunate woman and unfortunate man pressed charges or anything either. Alright everyone, I hope you're having a great day and that you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and keep a lookout for more of these little gems from Reddit. So long!